welcome into getting help from Uncle Sam, but in this case, it's more like an aunt, but it actually is our governor. And I, as a woman, am very proud that we have with us Governor Kay Ivey. Kay, it is wonderful to have you. And we talked in our last program about schools and education, and the plan that you have laid out. And that is the foundation of everything. It really is. And Governor, you made a statement that business and economic success and education they go hand in hand. And on this segment, we'd like to talk a little bit about some of your economic development that has taken place and that you would like to have take place.
Well, thank you very much. Economic development is real important to our state and to me. And if you want to be a pro-business governor, you got to be pro-education as well.
Yes.
And business leaders want the opportunity to convey to educators what the businesses need for their workers to know and how to be able to do. And by the same token, educators need to know the requirements of those business folks. So it's a two-way street. We have the Alabama Workforce Council led by Zeke Smith and a bunch of business folks working with superintendents around the state very diligently to make that marriage and make that interaction between education and business and industry occur. I took office in April of 17. Unemployment was 5.4%, and it's dropped every month that I've been in office down to 3.5%, an all-time record low of unemployment ever recorded in the state's history. And in December, it remained at 3.5%, but we hit the benchmark of having 2,093,000 people actually employed. And that's the largest number on record of Alabamians being employed. So that's good news. Now there's more to do. And since I've been named governor, elevated to governor, we've had $5 billion invested in new investments, and that will bring on 12,000 new jobs. Wow. So that's growth. When you put our people, men and women, to work at a good wage, doing a good quality job, they can better provide for themselves and their families, and that's what we're trying to do. Give everybody the opportunity to achieve their dreams through hard work and good paying jobs. And then just the 1st of January, I was pleased to announce that my team and I had successfully recruited Toyota Mazda to the great state of Alabama. And that's $1.6 billion investment additionally, and another 4,000 jobs that they'll be bringing to build 300,000 automobiles a year. So economic development is real important, both in automotive but also in aerospace and aviation. So we are active on all fronts, and Greg Canfield at the Department of Commerce does an excellent job with him and his staff, and I'm pleased to work with him. And I'm also pleased to work with the local leaders in all the counties. They're on the team as well. So I was just proud to make those announcements, because that means our people have an opportunity to achieve and succeed. And we know in Alabama that when our businesses do well, our people do well. And when our people do well, our state does well. So it all works hand in glove, and education and economic development have to go together.
Another one of the achievements that you have been so instrumental in was the acquisition of the F-35 for our Guard unit here. And that was an example, I think, of the hand in glove that you talk about with education. We did some legislation there that, could you tell us about?
We passed a bill that would provide National Guard folks college tuition money to go to college. And that was a bullet that we did not have on Arrow, we didn't have in our quiver. And some of the other states that were competing for the F-35 had that one. So we got that one passed last year in 2017 regular session, and that helped. That wasn't the only reason we got the F-35s. And ironically, as we sit here this afternoon, I'll be meeting with the ambassador of Italy and the members of the Leonardo team, that if they get the contracts from the Department of Defense, they're going to build the training vehicles over in Tuskegee to train the pilots that are going to fly the F-35s. So that will be another huge economic development project. So I'm pleased to be meeting with them this afternoon.
You tell them a fellow Italian says ciao. So all you got to remember is ciao.
I think you're so right, because you mentioned things that mean so much to all of us, and to our community and all the people who work so hard for these things, and that is that it takes a team. But I would have to say that a team is only as good as its leader, and we are very, very privileged to have you as our governor.
Well, thank you. It's my honor to serve. I never thought I'd get to be governor like I did, but most governors have 3 months to transition. I get 3 hours.
I had 3 hours. Well, you know, basically with your background, you have a background in education, you have a background in business. And when you have those two things, those are pretty good arrows in your quiver too, to be able to take the job that you've got and make it move forward. Very interesting. Most people don't know, in the state of Alabama, we are the 5th largest auto producer in the country. When the Mazda thing comes on board, we can go up to number 4.
At least.
At least number 4. And we're producing right now over 1 million vehicles a year. And
25 years ago, we didn't produce any.
we didn't produce any. That's why I say it's just it's a wonderful testament. And it's good to see that that's your focus. And that's exactly what has to
My
happen.
focus is also to get economic development happening in our, quote, rural areas.
Yes.
I brought a list. For example, we got Georgia Pacific in Talladega now. International paper redid a river mill. They're going to stay in Dallas. Georgia Pacific and Optune Provalis both went to Bruton. Troy just located Kimber Firearms. The James Hardy Building Products in Prattville. And of course, Mercedes has expanded to operations over in Bibb County. And Toyota Mazda's going to Limestone. So we're gradually pushing out and getting more jobs to our rural areas, and we want to continue to do that.
That's great. That's a wonderful way to do it. Well, Governor, anything we can do from our perspective to help? We've got a lot of viewers that view this show that are basically 50 years of age and older, but they know what good education is, and they know what hard work is, and they know you've brought both to the table, and we thank you for doing that. And just remember this, you're in a wonderful state. Make sure that we always push education, because that's going to ensure that we can bring all the industry in here to make us even greater. And we'll be right back right after this.